Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik again out of Guangzhou, China. This is the game War in the Pacific Advanced Edition, and this is my play by email match against KilRoy. This is scenario 1 on the game version 27 with the new extended map. And KilRoy will have also the benefit of working American torpedoes at the start of the war. These days are short and less active. Carrier battle is over. The Japanese won the Midway battle at New Caledonian. Light loss is only on my side. And the Americans are, I think, at least 3 or 4 months inactive with carrier. Or at least without carrier capability for the next 3-4 months, let's say this. They can always operate aircraft from a land base. That is possible and always a threat. There's also, I think, a British submarine here blockading Palmbang, but I was not able to locate the submarine. Let's see this. This escaped in shallow water. And no Navy engagement. We arriving already here in the morning. Airstrikes for China. Trying to create more unpleasant situation for the ground forces. So many air raids. And the Helens, I mean, they're really the same payload in the Key 21. It is really only additional protection. This is a big change here. This is also the reason it is possible to simply completely skip the Helen supply or production line if you also kick out and not follow the Tojo line, and then you can forget the whole engine 34 and change these factories maybe to produce more 33 and 35. At least for scenario 1, this is an option every player must keep in mind if you take over the Japanese side. There's no must-have Helen. It's only a little bit. Oh, yeah, and I still send my zeros to catch the one lonely buffalo here. Maybe the most successful American pilot, dodging every bullet, always returning with a damaged airplane, repair it and come back again to shoot down 1 or 2 of my Nell or Betty bombers. And today the Blenheims are in one big strike, but it's jungle, hard to hit anything. This aircraft operator with extended range, so only half drop load. tanks are trying and killing, but not achieving a victory. Siege on Nanchang many weeks already. But of course, like in reality. And yeah, the final battle of Ceylon and the last British forces are surrendering. It's over. Now this day, 20th May, the Japanese control all of Ceylon, and yeah, there's nothing really left. No small village with some British tea-drinking Celtic resistance fighters. No, not in this game. The rest is only bombardments. And more bombardments. Yeah. So, no change, but I was able to close the chapter of invasion of Ceylon. Now it's on the Allies if they want to make a counter invasion, maybe in 44. Well, first air losses. Well, I killed one Catalina with my flak, and the rest is all ops losses. So of course no pilot lost for me. No ships, no sinking sounds, nothing else. So movement in China, but I arrived here, so tomorrow we have here, or next turn we have here one battle, then here's a second battle, but still there are only cleanup operations. I move my tanks out because I kick out the Chinese. Now I must go back to on my road. Ceylon is secured. There's really nothing left. All is under Japanese control. Colombo looks fine. I have here no fuel left because big ships consume a lot of fuel and this island don't produce any fuel, so I have to ship everything. But I want also make sure that there's nothing trapping me here or intercepting me. But I have here some tankers coming. These are heavy tankers. I think this is not sure if it's the biggest or the second biggest class of tankers, but they're carrying 11,000 tons of fuel, plus 2 escort ships. Make sure that you only use normally escort ships in deep water. They have this mod 2, if you have them. So I mean, latest in May you get this more, so that these ships can at least try to hit enemy submarines in deep water. Yeah. Good. I also control here normally the sea, because this sea source of Ceylon is maybe the area where enemy can intercept my convoys, so I keep some eye on it. I also have normally Navy bombers running here, now they're on training, but sometimes I switch them on to check also this Sea of Bengal, so that there's not often a possibility for ships running from Calcutta maybe source. It's always possible, but I don't know. If I control Ceylon and Rangoon, there's not really much British Navy back here in Calcutta, or they're all trapped. It's hard to, I think, maintain any Navy presence for KilRoy there. And then my crippled ships are now tomorrow back into Lari, then I can make emergency repairs, everything is fine. No other change, only that the bombardments are consuming supplies, and so I'm already low on supplies again. I must ship more supplies. And I have also a new operation underway, and this is so my left, I have only some damage carriers, so I have only now Shukaku and Suikaku, plus 2 support carriers. This is air cover, and this is my landing force, more or less. And this is my surface cover force. So you can always see that I always operate this now. I have a landing operation. This is Task Force 276, and this be followed by an air group, and is followed by a surface engagement group. You could normally make it perfectly and then have a second surface task force covering your carriers, because now no task force is carrying or protecting this task force. But in this stage of the war and after the high losses KilRoy suffered already, I don't really care too much about this possibility. I also, my playstyle, I say all these light cruisers are carrier protection. Only this, because they have nothing else to do. I don't know. This is so. Japanese light cruisers are so weak that they cannot stand against enemy light cruisers. And not for. Japanese light cruisers can really only sink enemy cargo ships or civilian ships and maybe destroyers. And nothing more. So their fighting abilities are so limited that I say I better add them to carriers and give them something like surface protection, local or direct. And I better use battleships and heavy cruisers for cover forces, let them operate more independently, because I don't even want that this kind of ships really engage the enemy surface. You can maybe get later out of this decent something. I mean, not even this ship will never really get used to something, but I think Nagara class you can later change to anti-aircraft cruisers. This one is maybe changing to something useful. Yeah, this one is changing to a decent anti-aircraft and anti-submarine. So this is a perfect ship for normally carrier escort. They have radar, anti-submarine equipment, anti-aircraft equipment. Local, only for this ship. This the short-range guns is only for this ship, and long-range for the fleet. If I could have 20 of these ships, I would give them all to my carriers. This is more or less, together with the Japanese 3,500 ton destroyer, I think the best carrier escort ships. I don't know if I have them here. I have here my super long range destroyers. Yeah, this is the 3,500 ton destroyer. This is also a perfect carrier escort ship, and I would only put them for carrier escort duty, nothing else. Their main focus is anti-aircraft. These are anti-aircraft guns, and secondary role is anti-surface. So they can fight enemy destroyers, but nothing else. They have heavy torpedoes for battleships or cruisers, but their main duty is really anti-aircraft plus anti-submarine. Maybe this is not so impressive now, but they have good range and they penetrate well, they're making a lot of damage, and you get this upgrade and it's getting better and better. These destroyers are really the best destroyers maybe built, I would say, in the war. If Japan built maybe 100 of this, but of course they had not the capacity to build this kind of so many ships, and they are of course expensive and need a lot of time. These ships are 13 points, so they are double price than a typical American heavy destroyer. And the Americans, they're producing 200 destroyers, and the Japanese maybe only 20 destroyers. So even if this are then double the price, so you can say like 40 Japanese destroyers and still 200 American destroyers, the numbers are always in favor of the Allies. The Japanese, they're building here a quality equipment, and I had this discussion before, and no, not here. The Japanese follow this doctrine that they say we build less but higher quality. Problem is, this is missing in radar technology, so you have only the torpedoes are better, maybe the guns are better, but the anti-aircraft equipment is not better and the radar is not better. That is never getting really in favor of this for the Japanese. But what I want to say is this destroyer issue is that you have this high quality destroyers production at 42, 43. And then first in 44, the Japanese realize you not need only 3 or 4 good destroyers, you need 20 or 30 of this so-so destroyers. So you can also see the numbers are drastically changing. So the output of destroyers up to end of 43 is this roughly a dozen destroyers. So 1 destroyer per month's output. And in 44, you can see this is now more or less April of 44. The Japanese starting with this weaker destroyers. This is like American class destroyers, so they're half price. But you produce in a half year a dozen. Then in 45 again and again. You're producing here in 4 times more ships in the same period of time. Unluckily, this is late. 44, 45, I don't know what is their motto been. If the Japanese had this output maybe for 43, maybe helps. These destroyers are more or less scaled down. You can see, and they're really like American destroyers. Same tonnage or very similar tonnage. They are able to attack a submarine in deep water. They have radar for incoming surface. This is, I think, so this is a surface radar. They don't get air radar. The game is sometimes there are air radars, sometimes surface, but I think the short range is always the surface. You have some guns. So these ships are able to engage, and I think they are similar qualities like American destroyers. They're not high level, but they're okay. They have not this high speed, they don't have the range, but they can go with battleships and cruisers and even carriers. They need the refueling maybe a little more. So these are second class destroyers. But you better have second class in these destroyers than nothing. Yeah, but if you want, this has a top D. And here you can see, if it's air, then they write it air. If it's NE, then it means more or less surface. So detect ships, detect incoming airstrikes. And this gives you more reaction time. If this really have an impact on flak, I am not so sure. If this helps to hit more better with flak, I'm also not so sure. Maybe this have only impact on intercepting an enemy airstrike with cap fighters. Not 100% sure there. Yeah, and I think there is a build rate. No, so pity. I think there was one Japanese destroyer. Only one with 12. I thought it was 14. So this is a special class destroyer. I think this was the other type of destroyer. They only make this prototype, but then luckily they don't really follow this. I don't know how you want to call this. This is a high-speed destroyer. So the torpedo boat, the typical German, I think, torpedo boat have a speed of 40 to 42 knots. So this comes very close to the speed of a torpedo boat. So you have here an ocean-going torpedo boat with a tonnage of 3,000 tons. I mean, this is of course not my torpedo boat. The meaning of a torpedo boat would be normally like you are fast and small, so you can try most of the time in the cover of darkness to close into your enemy, and the enemy is much bigger often, and you release your torpedoes and you run away, and you try to be fast and small that you don't be detected, and you try to be fast and run away and be small that if you're going out, you normally maybe not sink the enemy, but you damage the enemy, but then he will later shoot on you back. So, but how this works with the destroyer, I don't know. A destroyer is normally far too big to be undetected. So this whole concept is strange. it is also burning fuel like hell. So how will Japan wants feed this kind of ships? So yeah, in this game you have only one of these destroyers, and yeah, I don't know. Luckily, they don't try something more with this. Good. See you next time. Take care. Bye.